panic when they hear new information, new concepts, a way people are moving through the world, I would ask people to sit with that. And I would ask people to sit with any time that they felt misunderstood in something and just really wanted someone to be like, understand. Like, because I think being misunderstood is a universal concept.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to El Cafecito Travel Talks with Tony Lloyd. Each episode, Tony sits down with travelers, expats, creatives, and community voices from across Latin America and beyond, sharing stories of travel, culture, connection, and the journeys that shape us. So grab a cafecito or a tea and enjoy the conversation.
So welcome back, everyone. Today I'm joined with two individuals here with me. First of all, I'll just have you introduce yourselves.
I'm Ash.
And I'm Phae.
Okay. Start off with just a little bit about yourselves individually and then jointly.
Okay. This is Ash. I am originally from the United States, so from South Carolina. I left home just after college, moved to LA, and just wanted to see what life would bring me in terms of stepping into my identity as a queer person, as a non-binary trans person, and just learning about traveling and how I wanted to move through the world. So moving to LA was like a first big move for me. And then that kind of started to lay groundwork, even though I wasn't thinking about moving out of the States yet. Like that started to lay groundwork for how I wanted to, I think, maybe live my life as a traveler. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And yourself?
And I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn in the house.
Boop, 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 boop. Okay. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I've always known that I wanted to travel. I studied abroad in college and I went to London and I also went to Benin. I did a French immersion program. I studied international affairs and thought I was going to be a diplomat, but I learned political science and was deeply disillusioned by my own country's history. And so just decided that travel outside of what connected to my career was something that I wanted to do. All there is to know about me. And I'm also an artist, filmmaker, emerging archivist, and yeah.
Okay, so good. Okay, Ash, you just said something. You said a non-binary person. Mm-hmm. In your own words, what do you... I know people define it in different ways, but what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so non-binary, gender non-conforming, gender neutral are terms that I would use to describe myself as not identifying by any one gender, and identifying as non-binary also opens up like the way that I use pronouns, for instance. So the way that I have people refer to me. So my pronouns actually are they, Ash, and all. Depending on what environment I'm in, I flow in my energy, like between the masculine and the feminine. And some days I'm feeling more she, some days I'm feeling more he, some days I'm feeling more they, and it all just kind of blends together. So there's not one gender that I personally identify with. Yeah. And so with that, identify with all. And so if it's someone that I trust and know has good intention for how they are engaging with me, then I open that up to them in terms of choosing what pronouns they would like to refer to me as.
Okay. Normally on an application, when you are going into a country and you're flying in somewhere, they're asking you male, female. So what happens there?
Well, I was assigned birth at female. So like that is what's on my identification, right? So I am going to put female just because I haven't changed my paperwork. So for me, the paperwork that I have I'm going to identify as female, and to lessen complication until I have something like governmentally official, even though I don't use government paperwork as a way to affirm myself. But in moving through the world in this way, until I have that, I would just go with what I have on my original paperwork.
Okay, understandable.
Yeah.
And Phae, I don't know if you want to answer the second part of that question.
Yeah.
What is queer? What does that mean? Nowadays, you see LGBTQ and all these different letters. And I'm going to put my hands up. I'm really sorry. I have no idea what at least 10 of those letters mean.
Yeah.
I don't know how many they are, but since are you both identifying as queer or just one, or do you each have different identifiers?
Yeah, so I identify as gender nonconforming as well. Okay. So that's also non-binary. They could kind of be interchangeable depending on the person. I know you may look at me and obviously people see a woman. And that's okay and that's fine. And I'm okay with, and my pronouns are they, them. And some people would consider it a little bit out there. But I'm a very sensitive person. I'm aware of the energy around me. So I'm very connected to energy. And I feel connected to the trees and the plants just as much as I feel connected to you or Ash in this room. And like, just like Ash, if it was an ideal world, I wouldn't label myself. But people need identifiers and labels to understand sometimes. Yeah, so for me, gender expansive is probably the proper term for me. And queer is okay too. It's interchangeable for me. I find queer is okay. And
how would you define queer though?
I find it's so funny because the way I define queer is so different maybe to some people. I think queer could also be your mindset. I think people who see and approach life differently could be queer. Like people could be queer in mind and they also could be queer in sexuality. So I don't assume people have to be a gay, lesbian, or bisexual to be queer. I think queer is people who go against the grain or they live outside of what society deems as normal. So there are a lot of people I know who are queer who aren't gay, lesbian, trans, or bisexual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would add to just in terms of identity, like personally, like also consider myself a trans person. And because this is a podcast, a trans masculine person. So like I might present myself more in a more masculine nature, even though I was assigned female at birth. So like I have facial hair, like again, from day to day, my dress, the way that I dress might change, just different things like that. So yeah.
Okay. So how did you two actually meet? And then let's talk about how you decided to travel together.
Yeah. So we met in New York. We both were working in film.
Yeah.
I met Ash at a work event. And they were working. And we actually, at the time, we didn't know each other the night we met. And then a couple weeks later, I ended up working in the same facility that they were working in.
Okay.
So that was in 2019 before the pandemic. And obviously, pandemic hit and we became close and got to know each other. They were living in LA. I was still living in New York. So we were long distance.
Yeah.
But even during the pandemic, we still prioritized travel. My birthday, we actually planned a trip to Phoenix, Arizona.
Like a road trip.
Yeah, we planned a road trip. I flew out to LA and we drove up to Phoenix, Arizona. And that was the first time that we traveled together because we knew that we wanted to have that experience.
Okay.
But we didn't know how integral would be a part of our relationship.
Yeah.
And I had never traveled with a significant other. So I think that was actually a really good foundation now that I think about it.
It was. Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's where we learned that we move in space very well together and problem solve together really well.
What are some of the other issues that come up as you're traveling and traveling internationally?
One of the big things that we talk about all the time is safety, especially for me because I am more visibly trans. I wear that more visibly. And so, just figuring out how to navigate as we travel to experience travel in the ways that we want to and do that in a way that feels good.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, you left the States in November, you said, right? Where have you been since November? We're now in July for those people who are wondering when we recorded this.
Yeah. So we've been to Costa Rica. We've been in Limon. We've been in more of the mountain area, Turrialba in Costa Rica. We are now here in Ecuador. So we've been to Quito. We're here in Cuenca. And then we're going to Manta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're slow traveling, right?
And that was integral.
Yes.
We are not want to be in a new place every week. We are not those people. No, not built for that.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Travel all the way.
As you're going about, are you seeing yourself more as Afro travelers? Are you seeing yourselves more as non-binary travelers, as queer travelers?
I think everybody lives in the intersection of several identities. You could be Black, you could be a mother, you can be an artist, you can be several identities at once.
Yeah,
and
I love that definition.
We're all multifaceted. So anyone listening, I don't even want you to get caught up on what it means to be non-binary and gender non-conforming. Just understand that everybody lives at the intersection of multiple identities.
Absolutely.
And so when we're traveling, we do keep all that in mind. And so it is difficult at times to find communities in certain ways, in certain pockets, because sometimes we can find Black people, but we can't find queer people. And sometimes we can find people who are in a new town every day, but we necessarily can't find slow travelers. And so it has been a challenge, but also we do have a great community and network of people who are soul travelers, who are queer, and some of them are all over the world. So it's beautiful to know that we can go anywhere, and have people that we already know, but definitely meeting new people who sit at those intersections, is difficult. But I'm really accepting. I'm kind of cool to meet people at the one intersection if that's okay. So, but it is a challenge to meet people in all those. Okay.
Have you had much contact with the Afro communities during your travel so far?
Really through you, we've been able to connect and go to like these beautiful, amazing restaurants, have these amazing food, and learn socially and culturally about the history here. Yeah. And it has been so just eye-opening in many ways. It's just like, these are the conversations we're having in the States in terms of like, what resources do the Afros have access to? It's like the same conversations. Like, why are certain parts of Ecuador seen as more dangerous? So it's just like, it's literally the same conversations.
You created like really great context in the beginning of like us just getting here. Like you gave a great historical context for things that we would like, you know, could look out for or experience during our time here in Ecuador, which has been really good.
Okay. For people who might be non-binary, queer, any of the other letters, would you recommend for them to travel in Ecuador? And what have been some good things and some things that you're like,
Based on the experiences that we have had, I've noticed the difference between me going out by myself and the difference between me and Ash together. Going out by myself, I realize people are nice, people are really kind, or sometimes people ignore me altogether. But being with Ash, I've noticed we've been followed more in the supermarket, which is something I've not experienced. I've lived in New York and I've lived in the South. And I've never been followed around in the supermarket before. And Ash has also been patted down. No one else was patted down. And we went to the airport to say, we don't know if it's because we were perceived as black or if they are because they present differently. So based on those qualifiers, I wouldn't tell someone not to come because of this, because I feel like El Centro is really beautiful and what we've seen and what we've experienced. Really enjoyed Quito. We didn't have any surveillance issues in Quito, but I would say El Centro, Cuenca of it all
has definitely been heightened.
It's definitely been heightened. So we're not too sure about Cuenca, but we will say Quito. We definitely enjoyed Quito as Black queer people moving through the world.
One of the things that's really interesting here in Cuenca, where we are, in 1997, there was a bar, and people could look this up on the internet for themselves. We won't go into the full details, but there was a bar that was having the first Miss Trans competition, like a competition. As a result of that, the police raided the bar and arrested everyone that was there. So similar to what in the U.S.
Like the
Stonewall situation. And people were held, you know, of course, the TV cameras were there, everybody was there, and there were people held in jail for some of them up to several days. So everyone that was there got arrested. This is 1997, not so long ago. As a result of that few months later, some of the laws in Ecuador got changed. So that was Ecuador's Stonewall. I don't know if you've heard about that before. So that was something that happened here in Cuenca. So Cuenca was a very important part of changing the law for the LGBT community here in Ecuador. And then Ecuador then became one of the first countries that made it constitutionally the rights for gay and lesbian rights in all of Latin America, and also was one of the first countries to allow same-sex marriages. So there you go, Ecuador. That being said, it's still a very religious country.
There's so many churches around here.
And the 52 churches in Cuenca. We're not going to go politics because we're going to go travel. Okay. Go ahead.
Politics is a part of travel. I think that is one of the big parts of what we consider in a new home. It's like, okay, well, what are the politics? Because as queer people, we have to be aware of if we're going to uproot ourselves from one place, then the next place that we go to has to be somewhere that can hold us and support us. And that looks like what are their laws and politics and what does that look like in terms of building a life somewhere else?
There's actually a website, I believe it's called Equaldex, that can be used to see the safest places to stay as someone who identifies as LGBTQIA+, the acronym. So it tells you like specifically what laws are in place. Like some places it's illegal for two men to be together, or it would be, but it says like two females as they are saying it. Like that's their language, obviously, that's how they're using. the language. So they'll say certain people it's okay, some people's not. Sometimes it's like no one is allowed. This is the punishment. And then there are places that say like, oh, nobody cares. Come through. So it's like it gives a spectrum and a score of the safety.
Right.
So if anyone who's listening and that's helpful resource for them,
yeah,
that is something that we use often before we go somewhere.
Yeah. You're traveling as a couple, as basically an individual. But have you ever gone on one of these group travels? What are your thoughts on some of these group travels?
Well, first and foremost, yeah, we have like a gathering, like a group gathering in Costa Rica. We had the chance to do that with friends.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. And everybody's queer or trans identifying. And that was a really beautiful experience and kind of let us know that that's something that we look to continue to do in the future. And I would say as far as sites go, like Facebook is a really good resource for the groups and the groups only. And so that's been a really good way to connect with people before we get somewhere. If we do want to connect with like maybe queer people, Black people, what have you. That's kind of, I think, how we met you is through a group that we had connected with before leaving. Went to an event, and that's how we connected with you. So, yeah.
Instagram.
IG. I'm not on IG.
Instagram has a lot of great events that have like travel companies or travel initiatives specifically for Black queer folks. And also
and retreats. Yeah,
I'm also in the process of developing retreats for lesbians, queer folks, for trans identifying folks to continue to provide options for us to be able to group travel, solo travel, because I really believe like we deserve the chance to restore ourselves and rest and just be. So that's something I'm also working on that will be coming.
What is something that you've learned out of this experience so far? I'll ask both of you, actually, since I get ready.
I learned the power of taking my time. Like, I just feel like there's such a sense of urgency in the States. And so I learned that being able to dictate your day the way you need to support your well-being is true freedom. Like, that's true actual liberation for me. And so leaving the States, I've been able to get a taste of freedom. I'm still, trying to get the money together to fully support it. But I've definitely learned that I would identify freedom as a Black queer person as being able to dictate my day how I need it to be, as opposed to being at somebody's job.
Okay. And yourself, Pat?
I would say I'm still learning the lesson of time, not moving at the pace of urgency, but it has been really nice to be in spaces where it is more supported to take your time. And Phae is always reminding me like that we don't have to move at the same pace because we are no longer in the same cultural environment. So there is room to move at a different pace when we need to. So that's been really wonderful. And also, I think just learning who I am in different spaces. So like learning that I really appreciate the quiet, like that has really been reinforced and learning now taking the step out of the States and out of that pressure cooker, like who I want to be in this new iteration of it all. Yeah, that's somebody who is like, it's important for me to feel connected in the places that we go and develop places that people can come feel safe, restored, nourished, and taken care of. And so like when we talk about finding our new home, that also includes like creating spaces where people that are in our direct community or maybe not can also come and know that when they do come, like they'll be taken care of and it'll be space. Yeah, safe space.
Okay. You are leaving Cuenca, you're heading off to Manta. What's next? Do you have an itinerary of what's next, or are you just going with the flow?
It's both, but we're going to Colombia next. But it's also like we're down for whatever comes up if it's economical.
Because we're a house sitter. Like
we house it, so we do house sitting.
That's how we kind of make some of our travel decisions too, is based on where we get house sits.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also
you also working, right?
And we also work.
Yeah. We also work.
Yeah.
What are you doing for work?
I'm a graphic designer, so I do graphic design work, and I also obviously we work in film, so I'm working on my own film projects, but my day-to-day, what's paying me right now is graphic design work. Yeah. So,
and I'm an audio description writer, and audio description is, if you think of what subtitles are for people who are deaf or hard of hearing, audio description is for blind, low vision people to still be able to engage with content, visual content. So yeah, I do that. And also, again, work in film and a photographer, archivism. So yeah, queer
queer?
Yes, quite queer, but we wear quite a few hats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any misconception that you would like to address?
I think there's this thing happens when new information is brought to people. And I like learning a new concept in algebra. It's just like, oh my gosh, I don't understand this. This is like immediate like shutdown. Mm-hmm. And so I know that could happen when people talk about identity, especially if it isn't something you've heard of. It's not something in your lived experience. And what I say to people who kind of like panic when they hear new information, new concepts, a way people are moving through the world, I would ask people to sit with that. And I would ask people to sit with any time that they felt misunderstood in something and just really wanted someone to be like, understand. Like, because I think being misunderstood is a universal concept. Mm-hmm. And I very rarely feel misunderstood because I don't need someone to understand me because I affirm myself and my identity.
Period.
And so I affirm my Blackness. I affirm my own identity. I affirm myself as a traveler. I affirm myself in so many ways. But I would just say for anyone who's listening, if you're learning any new information and it makes you uncomfortable and it's new, sit with that, deal with that. And it does not belong to the person who's trying to give you this new information about the way they move through the world. Mm-hmm. I think that's something that if anyone's listening to this and they're hearing all these things for the first time, just think of a time that they felt misunderstood or they were trying to explain something about themselves. And I would also say anyone who's talking about their identity to people who may not be part of the queer community, understand that people sometimes shut down because they don't know. Mm-hmm. It's new and it's different. So there is room for understanding, but I do think there's never room for disrespect and there's never room for harm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's all.
Mm-hmm. And Ash,
you said that very well.
Yeah. I'm just going to then say thank you. Thank you for taking the time. We're sitting here having some tea and some banana bread.
Yes. Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you. Like, no, you've really been like a great... It's funny because like we met you through another group space, but like in terms of like connecting to, like, you've really just been wonderful in like pointing out the places that we need to try and go and who we need to talk to and things to consider. And yeah, you're a really wonderful like bridge and connector in community, which I know that's what you do.
Thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's the whole idea, travel, connect, and making connection and helping creating community in so many different ways. Yeah. Once again, thank you and buen viaje.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of El Cafecito Travel Talks with Tony Lloyd. If you'd like to learn more about today's guest, check the podcast notes for links and information related to this episode. And if you have questions, stories, or topics you'd love us to explore in future episodes, feel free to reach out. Tony also helps independent travelers plan meaningful journeys throughout Central and South America, including cultural and community-based experiences. And if you'd like to support the podcast and help keep these conversations going, you'll find a contribution link in the podcast notes. Until next time, thank you for sharing a cafecito or tea with us, and safe travels wherever your journey may take you.